Ngonnso is the name of a festival that was started in the 1950s by the Ngonnso people in present-day Cameroon. That festival is what you are hearing now. Every year for a week in December, Ngonnso celebrate their mother, deity, and founder of Ngonnso land, Yaya Ngonnso. Jujus disguise themselves in costume and entertain locals and visitors from around the world, but truly everyone is singing and dancing in celebration of their sacred mother, for she represents peace, hope, and prosperity. However, in the 72 years that the festival has been running, her statue, the only one in the world and the physical embodiment of her being, has been absent. Instead, the Ngonnso people have a picture of it on a white piece of canvas, hung up for people to worship and admire. The picture? Taken in the Humboldt Forum in Berlin. How did it get there? Yaya Ngonnso was believed to have lived in the 14th century as the daughter of a king from the Tekar dynasty. Stories say she left her father to start a new kingdom, with her son as its first Fan, an Ngonnso king. Her name, Ngonnso, literally translates to Mother of the Ngonnso. From her son began the lineage from which all of his successors have descended, including the current Fan, Sam Mbinglo I. But we'll get to him later. First, a story of theft. In 1884, the Berlin Conference was held to divide up African land into European territories. Despite never having set foot in present-day Cameroon, its entirety became part of the German Empire. 7 years later, 8 to 10 Europeans arrived, making first contact with the Ngonnso people, which stayed friendly. But Ngonnso warriors had a long-standing practice of keeping the skulls of defeated war enemies as trophies in their manjang, their warrior lodge. According to oral tradition, when the Germans were invited into the Ngonnso manjang, they quickly assumed the Ngonnso people were cannibals and returned well armed. They beat a man and left him for dead, which prompted a retaliation by the Ngonnso with about 1,200 men. However, the soldiers were warned of the attack and burned down their palace. To the Ngonnso people, the Ngonnso statue is not merely a representation of her, but is her. Their belief in animism means that the statue is Ngonnso, and therefore is referred to as her, rather than it. She is made of wood, covered in cowrie shells with earrings dangling and a bowl in her lap. For that reason, the label in the Humboldt Forum describes her as a palm wine vessel, stripping her of all spiritual qualities. Little is known of how exactly Ngonnso was taken, other than it was by German colonial commander Kurt Pavel. German officials claim that it was a gift by the Ngonnso, but that seems unlikely. Ngonnso was stolen and gifted to the Staatliche Museen zu Berlin, later making its way to the Humboldt Forum. But now, after 120 years abducted from her home and over 30 years of activism and advocacy for her return by figures like Sylvie Njabati and Nigeria's Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Ngonnso is promised to return. In honor of this return, the Ngonnso Fan, Sam Mbinglo I, was flown to Berlin to visit Ngonnso. He greeted her and began his prayers while standing on 2 palm leaves covered in clay. He donned her with a leaf garland, but all the while refused to touch her. Even though her return is promised, the length of that process is unclear, and Europeans have a tendency to take their sweet time. The Fan, as a small active strike, promised to only greet Ngonnso properly once she was returned home. This story brings hope to the effort of African restitution, but it cannot be forgotten that Ngonnso is only one of more than 40,000 artifacts looted from Cameroon alone, and the struggle to bring them home lives on.